Hey Shackers, Greg here. Today we're going to take a look at the top 10 video game boss battles. Now first off, let's set some ground rules. These boss battles will be determined by three things: cinematic presence, nostalgia, and lastly, my own opinion. Everyone's list is different, so just go with it. I've also taken difficulty out of this equation. If I didn't, you'd have nothing but bosses on the NES and Dark Souls on this list. So let's dive into the top 10 video game boss battles. Warning, spoilers, obviously.
Showtime, Batman!
Number 10. It's great because right when you think you're finished, the game throws you a curveball, a castle, multiple boss battles. When you finally get to the infamous Dr. Wily, you have to beat him multiple times, and even after that, he still gets away. The Mega Man series had its fair share of great boss battles, but it's Dr. Wily that takes the cake in every game. Number 9. Reno Pillar Battle, Final Fantasy VII. You're fighting one of the most heartless Turks, but that's not all. You're fighting to keep your sector alive, trying to stop Reno and his company from pinning the blame on your team. On your way up to face him, your team members of Avalanche are dying before your eyes. Rage-induced, you get to the top and find they've planted a bomb to blow up the sector. With a silent timer ticking away, you rush to beat him down as fast as possible, but alas, it is in vain. No matter how slow or fast you beat him, Sector 7 is destroyed. The amount that was at stake in this boss battle was huge, especially for how early in the game it was, and it's this that lends its place as number 9 on this list. Number 8. Tyrant, Resident Evil. One of the most iconic enemies in video game history, the original battle, not the GameCube remake, was one to remember. After Albert Wesker's, quote, death, yes, I'm referring to the playthrough that makes more sense, Jill's story, not Chris's. After you've unloaded all your precious saved up ammo, he finally goes down. Then at the final location, right after you flare the chopper to come get you, the tyrant bashes through the floor, madder than ever. You fire everything, grenade launcher, magnum alike, until Brad throws down that rocket launcher, and the rest is history. Number 7.
Either because you don't have any other friends, because of how unlikable you are.
GLaDOS, Portal. She taunts you the entire game and lied about your cake. Or did she? Nothing is more gratifying than slowly destroying her primary components one at a time. The best part of this boss battle is you're outsmarting her rather than using brute force. Once she is defeated, you're rewarded with what is now the classic song known as Still Alive.
'Twas a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success.
Number 6. Gary, aka Blue, Red, Green, Pokemon Red and Blue. I knew him as Gary, the loudmouth Pokemon trainer that tried to best me at every turn, even going as far as letting me pick the first starter Pokemon so he could pick its counter. You run into him constantly during your playthrough, and finally you beat the 4th elite member on Victory Road, and then you become the new Pokemon champion. Or you would have been, but Gary has beat you to the punch, and his team is no pushover. With your Pokemon team in less than stellar shape, you have to fight him, and if you lose, you have to start all over again. But Destiny shows that you are the stronger trainer, as you put your rival in his place and claim your spot in Poke history. Number 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade, Krang / Shredder. Oh, the quarters spent on this game in the 90s. It was a good time. But getting to the final boss in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade meant one of two things. One, you were skilled enough to get there, or two, you had about $20 in quarters to spend. Either way, that final battle was hard, epic, and seeing that credit screen at the end made it all worth it. Number 4.
Avengers assemble! Help!
Captain America and the Avengers, Robot Red Skull. Before Disney made it a cool thing to like the Avengers, I remember an awesome arcade game that had some of the coolest music and 4-player action. Token after token was spent getting to the end of this game for the final confrontation with Red Skull. But you're not fighting him, you're fighting a Robo Skull. Hey, it was still cool in the 90s. Looking how far superhero games have come since then, this boss battle is one to remember.
You can't escape! You will be the one escaping!
Number 3. Shadow of the Colossus. All the Colossi. I can't possibly narrow down one boss in this game, because the whole game is a series of boss battles, so I'm counting it as one big continuous boss battle. It was rare to see these kinds of boss fights in games at the time. The scale alone was a new thing that many had never seen before. Fighting bosses 100 times your size? I mean, how do you fight that?
How will you fight that? More words?
Well, this game showed us how, and we'll always remember. Number 2. Bowser. Super Mario 64. One of the most iconic bosses in the history of video games, Bowser has and will be around for a very long time. However, it's the first time we encountered this dastardly dinosaur boss in 3D, and it was horrifying. It may have been an easy fight, but man, this was dark for a Mario game. Bowser looked very threatening, and what about that laugh? It was our first major boss battle on the N64. It was classic and done right. And number 1. Ganon. Zelda, Ocarina of Time. You've prepared your whole journey for this one. Saved sages, collected heart pieces, and gathered bottles. Time to face him. Ganon. Running up that spiral staircase as the organ music grew louder until you finally come face to face with him. Again. You defeat him, but not before he uses the last of his power to bring the castle down on you in Zelda. A ticking clock starts as you have to race for your life down the crumbling tower. When you finally reach the bottom and the castle collapses on itself, Ganon explodes out of the rubble and transforms into a classic piggish form. You then lose your Master Sword, leaving you to fight him with the Giant's Knife. Not recommended. No refunds. The Megaton Hammer, or Bigoron's Sword. Until finally, Zelda suppresses the Fire Berry and lets you get your Master Sword back to deliver the final blow, making this the boss fight to remember. Do you agree with my list? Comment below and let us know what boss battle you think was the best. This is Greg, and thanks for watching.
See you in my dreams.